Hey there, fans of the internet. This is the Advisor's Minute. I'm Chris Polina. Recently, I was asked to give some advice to a couple expecting their first child. I thought about this a bit. I identified some common financial mistakes that expecting parents should be aware of. In no particular order, I'll start with the first thing that comes to mind. So, the first thing that came to mind was overspending on baby gear. So new parents often spend way too much on baby gear. It's true, you need a lot more stuff, things that you don't even think about. Changing supplies, wipes, high chairs, car seats, things to play with, clothes, everything else. But what happens is we get so much stuff. And a lot of times it goes unused and we wind up throwing it out, and that can be a waste of money. So things to think about for these types of items: consider buying used, or maybe borrowing to save some money, or maybe a friend who has an older child. This is going to be particularly important with baby clothes, because kids grow out of them very quickly. And you should stagger it. You should ask people, if they're going to give a gift, to give something maybe a little bit older than your child, so that they can grow into it, instead of having everything for the age of the child and then they grow out of it and you haven't used half of it. Okay. Another thing to think about with new parents is underestimating the cost of childcare. This is something that goes. It's too long after the baby is born that you start thinking about this. This should be thought about way in advance, and many don't realize how expensive childcare really is. They can assume that both parents will continue to work and they'll just put the kid in daycare, but oftentimes they realize that one or the other spouse's income, the difference that it'll make in the income may make it either cost prohibitive to put the kid in childcare, or the opportunity cost of not being with the child, not seeing their first steps, their first this or that, not spending time, quality time, to make just a little bit extra money, because they're going to be giving so much every month to the child care specialist. It can be disheartening. So this is something that, as soon as you find out you're having a child, you should look at the options in your community. Look at what options you have. Is there a family member that can help out if you're both looking to work? Another thing that often gets underestimated is the financial strain of a new baby. We talked about all the stuff that you need, but then there are medical expenses. Vitamins, supplements. We talked about clothing that gets outgrown, needs to be replaced very quickly. So one way to prepare for this is possibly start getting rid of the things that you can do without. Maybe go to dinners a little bit less often. Maybe start cooking your own food. Bringing lunch to work instead of going out. Doing these little things to sort of shrink your expenditures, so when the baby comes and that money needs to go towards the child, that you're already sort of prepared for that, so it's not such a strain. And finally, something that seems obvious but is not always that obvious is get your financial house in order. Failing to get your financial affairs in order before the baby arrives can be devastating. Now you have a new family member who relies completely on you. It's crucial to update your financial plan. Purchase life insurance for wage earners. Choose a guardian. God forbid something happens. Update your wills and beneficiaries. Having your sister or brother on something, if something should happen to you, will cause a nightmare more than you know, when you really want your child to have that money now that you have a child. And also making sure you have an emergency fund. I mean, it's always good to have an emergency fund before children, but especially when you have a child, you should have 3 to 6 months of living expense in a liquid account, just in case something happens. Okay, so I hope these little tips help if you're planning on having a child in the near future, or if you're pregnant, because some of the things that pop up can be prepared for. As always, have a great day, and thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Take care.